All right, Canadians' favorite son is here to let us know if Kevin Owens is going to defeat Cody Rhodes at the Royal Rumble for the Winged Eagle Championship, also known as the WWE Championship. Mark Poirier, is that going down?
As much as I want to, and I know I would love to see Kevin win, I sadly think that it's going to be Cody who's going to retain his normal championship and take the Wing Eagle back from Kevin Owens and move on to WrestleMania to face whomever, possibly John Cena. We'll see.
Do you think this is the height of Kevin Owens as Kevin Owens is right now, or can he find himself back in that gatekeeper role as a heel now?
I don't want him to. Obviously, I'm a massive Kevin fan, but there's just, unless they switch in brands after the Rumble, then I can just see him being, like you said, the gatekeeper and kind of, is he going to go with Sammy at Mania? I mean, that kind of was, how Sammy going to play a factor into this match? Or I actually stated we were taping this the night after Saturday night's main event, the possibility of him and Shawn Michaels. He's always talked about doing that match in, real life interviews. So maybe he got him finally to do it. So if that's a match, that would be a big one for Mania. But if after Mania going through is just going to be, him just middling around unless they do something big like him and Drew and Seth as the truth the bringers to WWE, and they form some kind of faction on Raw, I'm assuming. Or outside of that, I think he might just middle around and just be the guy to set up the next guy kind of thing.
It's like, does that rumored threesome need to fail completely to go full circle to regain that? And I'm curious if that's the threesome, are they equal parts? Is there a leader? Is there one that would kind of outshine the others initially? I don't know where that would fall. And that's kind of weird where it's just like, all right, well, we're all against Roman. We were all wrong by Roman. And Roman kind of settled us in this upper mid-card gatekeeper role. So let's kind of come together to break that ceiling. Like Roman built his family in the bloodline on TV, kind of let's do our own thing, build our own, make group, family, whatever, and it will break us through. That's kind of the angle how I see things.
Yeah, I think so too. Yep.
Interesting. And I wonder if there would be like a mastermind behind that as well. Not a wise man, but maybe like a Triple H kind of thing.
Yeah, I could see that.
I mean? Yeah, because they're all Triple H kind of guys in a way. And honestly, are they Rock guys?
Yeah. I mean, you could always do Regal. I mean, I think somebody who could be somebody as
I don't know if he's a big enough star, but
I don't know if he's a big enough star behind that. I know, but Hunter loves him obviously, so and he's obviously a great talker and somebody who's always the villain, who's an evil person, who can be evil and could bring that out of those guys. But I mean, outside of Hunter, I guess maybe Regal, but I guess Hunter would be probably the main thing.
Can you imagine Regal going from Lexus King as mentoring Lexus King?
There would be, that would be kind of a shift. Yeah, I mean, I do forgot about that little thing that he's doing right now in NXT, but so probably Hunter would be the most logical piece, unless Hunter or Heyman turns on Roman, like he turns on everybody. Thing.
Perhaps they got to repay the higher power, and Christopher Daniels will finally get his
retired. He can do it now. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's like the worst rumor ever.
That would be pretty bad.
Christopher Daniels looked like in the Attitude Era in 1999 compared to the Undertaker and everyone else.
Yeah, it would be. I'm sure it would have been a wet fart, but
it was anyways.
It was anyways. I said it would have been worse than Vince, but here we are.
All right. Yeah, I'm curious. I'm glad we went down that road because I don't know if it's like rumor or if it's actually something they're building to. And I'm not sure how I'd feel about it. I'm not sure if I'd like it, love it, or be indifferent to it because I do like all three individually, KO being my favorite. I feel like I like Seth as an in-ring performer. I just feel like character-wise, he always kind of turns me off a little bit. And then Drew's coming off his best year as a character. And where would he find himself as like a third wheel? Because he is. Yeah. Who do you think is a bigger star, Drew McIntyre or Kevin Owens?
Drew. I think Drew, his run with Seth leading to that, and then the Punk stuff, definitely harder.
Winning the Rumble, that carrying the pandemic, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's definitely. I mean, obviously Seth's got the longer. Drew was there.
I think before, in their eyes, Seth would be the biggest star. I think Drew has the biggest potential.
Potential to be a star.
Kevin low-key is probably the most loved.
Yeah, I mean,
he can switch fan, right?
Yeah, I mean. He can go back and forth from face to heel and stuff like that, and he obviously usually does. But I just think people really want to like him, and they just don't want to, they don't want to boo the guy. He just, he's a fat guy like me, and you just respect that. He goes out there and
You
doesn't
look pretty
crack
fat. What do you wore that gray? My father is a security tech
six.
shirt. I'm like,
Yeah, like I
that
mean,
beer belly is on fire. He doesn't even drink, I don't think.
100%. Oh yeah, I mean, he just French Canadian, loves the Habs, loves hockey. How could I not? How could I boo this guy? For me personally, and I know a lot of people, especially up here, love him. But Kevin's probably the most beloved, and just the way he talks, like he doesn't feel like it's scripted with him.
Yeah.
With the other guys. Like Seth is just it's kind of the goofy with the laugh, and Drew, he killed it last year, no doubt about it, with his talking and everything else. But Kevin just feels like the more real guy that people relate to more. Just a fat guy with a beard and kicks people, gives them stunner, and pile drivers people now too. So now he's really cool.
To me, I feel like that is a post WrestleMania thing, perhaps.
Yeah, I think it is. I think obviously the tease with Sammy is probably the thing on the front burner, whether they go with him and Sammy at
That's right.
Mania,
Yeah. True.
which,
That could be a red herring though, because it's always continuous, it seems like.
yeah, they're the forever rivals, right? I mean,
Yeah.
forever friends, forever rivals. It just, they're forever linked to each other with Indies in Quebec and then ROH and now here. Um, I think, like, will Sammy go in there and try to help and then change his mind? I think that's probably what it's leading towards.
Yeah, I was just gonna bring that up. Just do we get Sami Zayn here, or is that just kind of fake fodder?
I think
It
it's
won't.
fake fodder, yeah, and I think and then Kevin will get him in, like, will illegally enter the Rumble or something like that and throw him out, something like along those lines to give Sammy an out to maybe get a title match down the road. Like, hey, I got eliminated by somebody who wasn't in the match, blah 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 blah. You can go that route if you want. I mean, they've never really, I think Curtis was still in the Rumble, disappeared.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. 2015
There,
or whatever. Like that scenario kind of fucks with you a little bit from a presentation of the structure of the card. I could see this match being first, third, or fourth. Like, where do you see that?
that's a really good question.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on where they maybe if Kevin loses, I'm sorry, when Kevin loses, I hate to burst everybody's bubble.
If we'll go
Does he? Yeah, let's say he does lose. Does he get entered into the Rumble at the end? If that, so then maybe that goes first, to give him time. I mean, he can have time even if it's the match before the men's
grueling
Rumble.
ladder match, and now we're gonna enter the Rumble, right?
He did. Hey, he did the last man standing match against Ambrose at the one Rumble, and then he entered the Rumble at the end. That was the one with the world titles online, I believe.
Yeah, 16.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not for him to do some kind of hardcore match for him to go back and do the Rumble later. It's
that did open
not out of the
and
question.
that Rumble closed. So yeah.
So yeah, if they go with the men's last, which I'm assuming they are because it's the most star-studded Rumble they're calling it or whatever right now.
The story's in it too. I feel like it has to be last, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't. But then again,
so they might do the women's Rumble first, which they did last year because I was there. I should know, but yeah. They did the women's Rumble. So I'm going to do like that same kind of that first.
I can see any scenario. I just feel like DIY is going to be like second after.
It's going to be after that even could be after the Rumble, and then
which I'm going to get into that with Richie a little later. I still think that's going to be awesome.
Yep. The reaction, I'm hoping, obviously, we're going to side jump here just for the guns. I hope they have a really good reaction because doesn't seem like they're very over on the normal shows. So hopefully they get something here. Sorry, a little sidebar here for everybody, but yeah, we'll move on.
HBK, you hinted it. Is there anything to? I know Kevin pitched a match to him, but who knows?
He's said every year he pitches a match to Shawn Michaels. I've seen an interview that he said every year he pitches it, and Shawn politely tells him no. And the super kick just makes like they could go. Let's say Kevin loses, he freaks out, he goes to NXT 1 week and just beats the hell out of Shawn backstage. They go to it, and then it goes towards Mania. Maybe that's where they're going. Maybe that's Sammy. The super kick just feels like there's something more to it. If Shawn didn't do it, then like whatever, and then it's Sammy and Kevin at Mania. It just to go unanswered and Kevin to leave him unpunished for what he did to him there. I don't buy it. He's unhinged, as they've been saying and stuff like that. So I don't think he's going to maybe Shawn doesn't get involved in this match, but I could see if Kevin loses that he could turn it away and twist it that this was Shawn Michaels' fault somehow.
Yeah. Orton. Now, is there a chance that the Rumble's so star-studded that we don't need Randy Orton in the Rumble, but we get him in this match as like a run
He
into
could
that.
turn. He could turn and help out Kevin. I mean, that's not outside the realm of possibility. They were teasing Cody, like he would stare down at the belt whenever he was having these backstage interactions before he was gone
Yeah.
with Cody. So I mean, he could just say once the next SmackDown after he say, look, I saw everything. I didn't like what Kevin did, but then I started to think about what he said, and he was absolutely right. And I mean, he can join. They can have like a bigger super group with Randy with these guys. You never know, right? They can do this.
Randy could replace Seth or something like
Yeah,
that.
except if they don't want to do Seth, they can put Randy and Drew, and they're the truth seeker, the truth bringers of WWE or whatever they want to do. Shield 2.0, I don't know, whatever. Yeah, I definitely Randy is definitely a possibility for this, but I would, if I had to go like a chart, obviously Sammy's number 1, Shawn would be number 2, and Orton number 3 is somebody who's gonna, appear in this match. Randy more likely a surprise in the Rumble, but I wouldn't, don't count it out. 10% maybe he could show up for this one too.
I feel like they would like to give Kevin Owens an out here if he were to lose. I feel that out would lead to a WrestleMania season match, perhaps at WrestleMania, most likely. Because he's done a lot of breadcrumbs of outs. Like the Sammy stuff was so good and interesting. There's so much history there. The Orton package pile driver and the HBK Sweet Chin Music, they're all justifications of outs for this match. And I feel like Kevin deserves an out. He shouldn't be laying down, losing, clean as a whistle. That would kind of suck.
I think, I'm no preparation in this whatsoever. I think he might have had an out in every world title match at Royal Rumble that he's ever had. So, I mean, if they, I'm just, if it's when, they protect him to a degree, especially
the reason why he's so reliable, and that,
especially if he has re-signed, which we all figured he hasn't. I mean, they've never officially announced these things anymore, but he's probably re-signed to a really good deal. So if you're making good money, they're going to push you, and so I mean, they're going to probably do the best to protect you as well. And I'm sure he'll have with Sammy, Shawn, or Randy for Mania, he'll have high profile, not like top of the card. Obviously, we know that's pretty much who's going to be there, but near the top of the card, like a very big match. If it's Shawn Michaels, obviously that would be, in a lot of fans' eyes, a big match for Shawn coming out of retirement again. Hopefully to have a better match than his last retirement match. So
I'd be shocked though. I'd be legit shocked if he did it.
Shawn I don't Michaels, know, man.
Shocked.
I don't know. I didn't think about it until the super kick on Saturday Night's Main Event, and I was like, okay, there's got to be something here.
Looked extremely better than Cody's super kick, by the way.
Very much so, yeah. Cody's never. He tried with the Bucks. He could never throw a super kick, but God bless him for trying.
It's too stiff.
Yeah.
Speaking of that stiffness, are you worried about the ladder match from a athleticism standpoint, or is this going to be more of a brutal ladder match where they kind of punish each other and not go with the flippity doodads, right?
Yeah, I think it's more. It's gonna be. Yeah, I think it's gonna be more like punishing with the ladders and Kevin doing sentons and swantons on the things. I think that's more his style.
Cody cutters and
Cody Cutter. Yeah, Cody will do. Yeah, I mean, he might. His last AEW match was the ladder match against Sammy Guevara. Maybe he will try to do that jumping springboard 2-ladder cutter that Sammy did to him, and do it to Kevin here. That would not shock me in the least. So I think they're gonna there'll be some big off the ladder things, but not like a Jeff Hardy top off the thing through the floors kind of thing, but punishing chairs, tables, like very grounded, not safe, but safe-ish on the bump tanking. I think ladder match with this one, especially when we're close to WrestleMania. You got to protect these guys, especially Cody. He's going to be main eventing one of the shows, so I think it's at everybody's best interest to keep it grounded somewhat.
Now, I'm such a jackass that I get overexcited, and I think these things can't miss. But I think this Rumble card is electric, and I think this is the swing for an all-time Rumble. Like this match here, if this match delivers or not, if they go out here and have an excellent 4.25 plus star match, add in a all-time Rumble, which is presented to perhaps be the women's Rumble is not an atrocity, and the 2 out of 3 falls match lives up to 80% of that hype, we could be talking like an all-time year for the Royal Rumble. And of course, I always get myself in that stage, and it's like, you start the post show and you're like, that wasn't as good as I anticipated. And then at the end of the post show, you're like, oh, that was actually pretty good. So it's just like, they always kind of fuck you, but personally, I set the bar too high. Am I setting the bar too high to think that this, to say 4 stars is a great match? Am I setting the bar too high? Because Saturday night's main event was more of an angle, but the wrestling and the match as a whole was pretty good.
Yeah,
Very, very good at times too. Brash and Berlin, again, very good to almost great. The blow off here should be that. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, I don't know if they want to do the spectacular off the ladder spots, but I think it will be spectacular in like the punishment they take, like with chairs and ladder shots and stuff like that. And like I think Kevin's going to be doing the most of the heavy lifting, no pun intended for his weight, of the like jumping off of things and doing spectacular things. I mean, Cody. If, like I said, if I were Cody, I want to not jump off a lot of things. But hey, if they want to go out and have an all-time ladder match on a big show like the Royal Rumble and 60,000 people, maybe they're going to go for it. Maybe I'm completely wrong, which I probably am. Hopefully. So yeah, I think like you said about the card in general, like this could be potentially one of the upper echelon Rumbles, but maybe we are setting the bar too high. But let's set the bar too high. Who cares? We could always go back and just delete this off the internet afterwards too, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, no, I think this is gonna be a great show. I think the ladder match, you got to start at a 4-star match. I think it's gonna be there, and like I said, I think Cody's winning this one, but Kevin's gonna have an out somehow from somebody. He's gonna do something to him.
With the ladder match stipulation, that could potentially be an out for Cody, and
true.
never say never, right? With maybe he gets like an Orton or a Rock or something that comes to cost him. Maybe the Rock is the overseer of this 3-man corporation group, right? He starts his own corporation.
Yeah.
And all that shit's red herrings. At Netflix, I bring you in to keep you, you're so gullible, you're Sting to 2025 kind of type of things. And it's just like, I am the final boss. I've, erected this group to kind of come in and destroy you and to set my tone for my vision of the corporate WWE. I know that a corporation can, set your careers off as it did mine. So I made my own. Yeah.
Cody with Hunter as the baby face of the company. You could do that. Yeah. I mean, not the worst idea I've ever heard. It's pretty good actually. So
yeah, we'll see. But
we'll see. But
I still that might be a little. We'll get that. I think we'll get the 1, 2, 3 or the pull down.
No,
bullshit.
Yeah, the big thing with both belts. I think that's the money shot we're gonna get with Cody. He's the quarterback. He's the face of the company, and I think a John Cena match is awaiting him for WrestleMania. So as I believe John Cena will win the Royal Rumble, the Elimination Chamber. So throw that out there for a quick look into the future. John wins the Rumble. I've been up here here in Hamilton, and they pushed John Cena at the Elimination Chamber on TV on every commercial. Every commercial is John Cena's last time in Toronto. They're pushing it very hard up here that this is it. So I think they're going to do him in the Chamber win up here and go with him and Cody at WrestleMania. So I think it's Cody, sadly, over another beloved Canadian and Kevin Owens going down.
All right. Well, you were gracious enough to jump on here. We had an opening last minute. Now you're.
Let me guess, it was Sean Kidd, right?
I would like to give the floor for you to shit on Sean Kidd's takes. I'll give you like 20 seconds.
Okay. Sean Kidd, if nobody is aware, is the biggest Jay White hater in the history of mankind. I am maybe the biggest Jay White lover in the history of mankind. Yeah. However, I did say I like Pentamore and Jay White, which I still do. Anyways, Sean Kidd's wrong. Jay White is an incredible wrestler. Put it on, stamp it, mail it to him. I don't care. I've already ripped on it once before. Sean, you're wrong. You're always going to be wrong.
Look at his eyes. He's looking right at you, Sean.
This is as dead serious as I'm ever going to be. Jay White's the man, and that's the bottom line because I said so. Done.
All right. Ultimately, I wanted Sean on so we could talk Sean Kidd's hate for Cody Rhodes and his disappointment of this title run. I wanted to kind of go over with it, but that's for another day.
That's another day for him to shit on something. What a surprise.
Sean, we love you, buddy.
We do love you, Sean. Yes, we do.
All right. Enough of this. Mark, thank you, buddy.
Thank you.